What's up, everybody? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick.
I'm Jammin John.
And we have quite possibly the most anticipated release we're about to go over. That's right. We're about to go over the Epstein files. That's right. Breaking news here at Thralls. We got them. It's a juicy list, and I'm just kidding. I really wish we were going over that instead of what we're going over, because we're going over the new Slaughter to Prevail, Grizzly. This also came out on the 18th of July on Sumerian Records. I actually forgot it came out this week. I was actually kind of happy about that, even though we've been asked to go over this band again because we went over their last one, Kostum, whatever the fuck it is. But, you know, we figured why not go over this one because, I mean, from at least the fans, we heard that this was so much better than the last one. And we also found out that their fans are liars.
Big, fat liars. I don't know how you people sleep at night.
Anyway, this band formed in 2014 in Russia. They now live in Orlando, which, okay, that's cool. This is their third full-length overall. Again, we reviewed their last one. We agitated some fans. And, yeah, I mean, mostly we went over because everyone was talking about, like, their big single, Booger Yoga, or whatever the fuck it was. The album wasn't great, but I will say it was better than this. This band, I guess, is described as new metalcore or new metal deathcore, or I don't know, dude. It's fucking terrible. They pretty much cross-pollinate the dumbest aspects of both deathcore and new metal and put it together. Now, they weren't always that way. They were a very mid deathcore band initially. We saw them live at Summer Slaughter, and we're like, that guy's got a kind of cool mask. Oh, all right, they're not good. Let's go outside and have a cigarette for the entire set.
And that's what we did. I remember that day actually pretty well. It was hotter than shit that day, too. And we decided that instead of roasting inside the venue, we would roast out in the sun for cigarettes because it just wasn't good. And I'm here to tell you that this record also is not good.
I'd be hard-pressed to find much positive on here. There were a couple of tracks that I thought were, God, I don't want to say tolerable, but I just said it. That might be the most accurate word for it, but this is just a clusterfuck of stupid. There's so much janky songwriting on here with just terrible transitions and just very basic riffs and just amplified stupidity. Like, this is stupid on fucking roids.
This is like dumping a jigsaw puzzle on a table, like a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, and you dump it out on the table and you go, that piece looks cool, and that piece looks cool, and I'm just gonna mash them together. And that's pretty much what is going on this entire record. I'm here to tell you that they spent more time in post-production adding blips and sounds and symphonics and weird noises and moaning and groaning. They spent more time adding that in than they did the actual song production. Because when you break down these songs, there is not a whole lot going on.
Yeah, dude, without the glitz and glamour of the modern production here, which, I mean, it's okay. I feel bad that the guy that mastered this actually mastered albums like fucking Hotel California and Green Day's American Idiot. I looked at his, resume and was like, oh, wow, he's actually been a part of some big albums. And now this one, which I'm sure he'll never bring up. So this opens up with the song Banditos. I know what you're thinking, fiercely Russian, that word. And immediately the impression I get is like AI blended Slipknot with Alex Terrible on vocals instead of Corey, which Alex, initially I kind of liked this dude. Like, I thought he had like some solid roars, but he has gotten more ridiculous over the years. Like, I know he's gotten like bare knuckle boxing and he likes to get his face punched in and, go home and, relax by molesting a grizzly bear or whatever. But he sounds like a combination of like Corey Taylor and the Tasmanian Devil on here. And he's trying to branch out vocally, I would say, on this one, because this is, God, I don't even want to call it experimental because that implies some thought went into it. But he's trying to do a lot more vocally in here, and this song right away is just a mishmash of just bad ideas. Like, again, you have this very stock-sounding deathcore worshipping Slipknot sound. You have symphonic deathcore that just smashes into it like a fucking car wreck. And the transitions are rough and shoddy. You go from this full-on symphonic, like, deathcore chug-a-thon on the chorus to a fucking Mexican cantina for a little bit with the Russian guy groaning lyrics in Spanish.
Yeah, and that switch is so strange because, first of all, you don't see that coming, but then when it happens, it sticks around for a long time. I actually felt like I was at a Mexican restaurant, which is not Russian at all, obviously, no. But I felt like I was getting served a delicious enchilada and I was being serenaded by a band.
Surprise, it's borscht. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It doesn't fit. And, you know, throughout this album, there's just a lot of like square peg, round hole moments. And when it's not clunkily trying to be experimental and trying to do something to wow people in terms of like, ooh, look at this thing we did. It's like, why? Then it's just stupid. Like the second track, Russian Grizzly in America, which sounds like an unreleased Trauma film.
Actually, if it were a Trauma film, I might actually check it out.
Yeah, no, actually, I'd probably watch it. But it's a very just basic nu metal groove and riff stomp. It's got an obscenely stupid breakdown, which, I mean, this band goes for like that full-on, like, Lorna Shore, stupid slow down and then slow it down some more breakdowns. I mean, it shows up on that song, Baba Yaga, Viking, and Koshe, I think that's how you say that. There's a lot of stuff on like Russian folklore in here, which I do kind of appreciate. I think that is kind of cool. It's just, I'm pretty sure Russian folklore enthusiasts are probably not going to listen to us. And if they did, they were like, listen, stop talking about all the cool things in our history. But he does this weird trill growl. And dude, there's so much attention to Alex's vocals on here in terms of like isolating them and, you know, leading in breakdowns. Like, the music at points is almost secondary to him just doing weird things with his vocals that don't always work. Like, yeah, he can growl, but so can a lot of deathcore singers.
100%. So can a lot of metal musicians in general. Like, there's a lot of growling in metal. And they're tracked like 90 times. Like, just everything. Just all of it. All of everything is tracked absolutely as much as it can possibly go. Like, they ran out of room on the mixing board.
And again, like, the way these songs are constructed, like, if it's not just like a very basic stomping, you know, kind of deathcore groove or nu metal bounce, it's, you know, something that is just oddly fitting and trying to blend ideas that are just like colliding on here. There were some legit questions going through my head as I was listening to this. One was like, man, do I have to finish this? But I did, you know, because I'm a fucking trooper and I stuck with it. The other one was, were they like drunk on fucking shots of vodka and bear piss while they were writing these songs? Because, oh my God, dude, these are fucking bad. And man, this might feature one of the worst collaborations I have heard this year. And I'm not talking about the Baby Metal song. The Baby Metal song isn't good, but it's not the worst one on here. The Baby Metal song they do, it's called Song 3, and legit, most of the lyrics are literally 1, 2, 3, except they say it in Japanese, which, I don't know, like, part of me thinks that's as high as this band can fucking count.
Even Psycho Stick can count to 4.
Yeah, no kidding. But the mix of stupid nu metal syncopation and I'm not a big fan of Baby Metal. I'm not a fan at all. I just feel like it's weird to be a guy in your late 40s and be a fan of Baby Metal. No disrespect to them. Like, hey, if they get kids into metal, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I just never want to listen to it. Then it sounds like syncopated chipmunk core. Like, it's squeaky and like I don't get it. Like, this is a collaboration that might have worked with like an equally quirky band like System of a Down, but we got Slaughter to Prevail, and yeah, no.
The first thing I thought of was Alvin and the Chipmunks, and you can't get away from that. Once you think about that, that's all you're gonna hear, regardless.
But legit, the worst collab on here was with none other than Ronnie Radke, which Ronnie's fucking appearance on this album automatically deducts 2 stars because he's such a piece of shit. I don't like that dude at all. I think he's absolute scum and his music's fucking terrible. And I don't know, the more he fucking blacks out all of his fucking tattoos, the more I think he looks like the shadow of a dipshit.
And he contributes to the chorus. And let me tell you, it's so bad, it's nauseating. What he does on that chorus is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. Starts off as like a clean vocal, like almost a spoken thing, and it sounds like whiny moaning.
It's out of tune, too.
Yeah.
Like, there's no fucking hook to be found there. It's just awful. Like, it is one of the worst fucking choruses I have ever heard. It's one of the worst fucking songs I have heard this year. And I sat through an entire Sleep Token album. Possibly the worst part, though, outside of that fucking terrible chorus, was the bridge where it just goes into this, like, TikTok fucking breakdown of, like, pseudo hip-hop electronica, and it is cringe-inducing. And then somehow it decides to transition into blast beats for a little bit before returning to that fucking terrible initial first part of the song. It is one of the worst songs I have heard this year. Now, again, I had heard some fans talking about this album as, like, you know, a step forward in terms of their progression as songwriters and musicians, and for the life of me, I did not fucking hear that. This album revels in being dumb, and it's so fucking dumb, it makes bands like Attila and Amir sound like fucking Harvard grads. Seriously, this album is about as dumb and as action-packed, quote-unquote, as all of the Expendable movies. And yeah, the dialogue is about as on par with the fucking lyrics in here, because all of these are just like tough guy, edgy, fucking dumb lyrics. When they're not talking about Russian folklore, which again, I kind of appreciated. There's some stuff on Behelit and Koshie and Baba Yaga, or whatever the fuck it is. You know, I kind of appreciate some of the storytelling, but I'd rather literally anyone else was telling the story. And when this band attempts to get epic, because there are symphonic moments on here that feel so woefully out of place. Like, this is not the band to be doing symphonic fucking anything. I can't even say it's the most cringe-inducing thing, because the whole album's just cringe-inducing, but it feels so out of place of this band trying to be epic. That, and they don't necessarily have the songwriting skills to really generate a lot of, like, big epic hooks. Like Behelit. While, again, I appreciate the folklore stuff because I looked up some of these songs. Like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Really wish the song was. But it's this, like, kind of bloated epic with these big synths in the background that sound like swells of strings. And it kind of just gets into this, you know, bland mid-tempo stomp. It sounds kind of like Rammstein and, like, Lorna Shore kind of smashed together, and it's not fucking good. It's so fucking cheesy.
And in that song also, along with all these attempts at grandeur, are clean vocals. Alex can growl. I've seen that video of him online. He growls without a mic, and you can hear him from way the fuck back, and, like, that's awesome. Clean singing is not his forte. Not at all.
No, and surprisingly, you know, with as overproduced as this album is, except for the snare. God damn the snare.
No.
It's the Stanger snare, and I hate it. But they don't, like, auto-tune a lot of his cleans. Like, he auto-tuned some of them, and there are some that really needed some help. Like, especially on, like, the last two tracks, Kid of Darkness, which somehow that's dumber than fucking Russian Grizzly in America in terms of song titles. And 1984, which is heady subject matter for an album this fucking stupid. For real, this band screaming about, like, dystopian futures is about as fitting as dying fetus writing power ballads. But there are some legit big sour notes, like sour notes that I don't know how they got past production. Like, ooh, you want to do that again? And I don't know, maybe Alex was just in a mood, was like, no, fuck you, I got that right first try. You want me to kick you in balls? I know, do it again. But yeah, the cleans are just not good. And again, he's kind of doing that Corey Taylor, like, trying to rev up the growls, like, I'm getting angrier, like, we can tell. But when he goes into the cleans, like, he comes in, like, off key in a couple of times. It's just, like, really bad. And when you don't have, like, solid cleans, the last thing you want to do is do something ballad laden.
Yes.
But this band did not get that memo, and we were greeted with an almost ballad with Rodina. I'll be honest, this is where it kind of traipses into, Five Finger Death Punch territory.
Reflective Russian Death Punch.
Oh, yeah. Like, the only difference between, Five Finger Death Punch fans and Slaughter Prevail fans is Five Finger Death Punch fans definitely lick boots. I think these fans lick jock straps. But yeah, you have clean acoustic melodies. It's a little bit brighter. There's a solo on that song, too. And there's not a tremendous amount of lead play on here. And honestly, solo wasn't bad.
No, it was okay.
But how it builds into this like big deathcore chorus, like you get these kind of like groaned cleans, and he's just not like the vocalist to like generate any kind of powerful melodic hook when it comes down to his vocals.
I get wanting to try that. I get wanting to branch out. A lot of bands have done it. But there are a somewhat significant amount of bands that when they do cleans, they execute them well. Looking at you, Rivers of Nile. Looking at you, Black Crown Initiate. Even looking at you, Fit for an Autopsy. Slaughter to Prevail. Again, that's not the man's wheelhouse. That guy can growl, but singing does not work out. I tell you what, some of the worst clean vocals are on Kid of Darkness.
Cool.
Like it's so bad that it kind of sours you when it hits. You're just like, oh.
Ooh. And again, so much time is spent on like isolating his vocals before big stupid breakdowns. So, I mean, he's very out front anyway. So I don't see why they didn't like go back over those, clean parts. Like, we can slap some auto-tune on it. You could do it again if you're in the mood for it. But he also had some really rough notes on, again, 1984 too, which 1984 honestly might be one of the best tracks on here. Now, I know what you're saying. We've shit on this entire album so far. And legit, the competition is not too high for being the best song on here. But it's one that actually kind of showcases a little bit more technical play. The riffs aren't as basic because, man, like, outside of all the other complaints I have about this, dude, the riffs on here just are kind of boring. Like, they're, basic kind of chugs. Like, they don't have a tremendous amount of character, and when they do, it sounds like someone else's character. Like, Baba Yaga, like, the main chug that drives the verses on there, they kind of just reworked the domination chug from, Cowboys from Hell. Crochet, or however you say that one. I mean, it has this, like, little acoustic intro, but it kind of sounds like Monster Magnet.
It 100% sounds like Monster Magnet.
Yeah, I mean, Space Lord, except in this case, it's Turd Lord. But yeah, when they're trying to be more melodic and more adventurous, it feels very stock. But at least I feel like that's an attempt to try to do something different. It's not good, but, it's an attempt. But, man, I gotta say, like, in terms of, like, the most stupid song on here, and that's a tough contest because there's a lot of songs in the running. Lift That Shit. Immediately stupid. This goes from 0 to dumb in a nanosecond. Just a couple of fucking growls. I don't even know what he says in the second part. He says lift that shit and then something about, like, I don't know.
I think he says your moves are fucking goofy. I'm pretty sure that's what he says.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. I know the song's dumb. It's about lifting, and the only thing that song lifts is a fucking pile of fucking Slipknot albums. So it can find the worst songs in their discography to fucking ape and turn into this song. It's just basic, and dude, like, this is probably the most homoerotic song in here. Like, this is about as oily and greased up and just man-loving as a Manowar album cover. So, yeah, we didn't like this at all. This was bad. Like, I mean, I don't know if I had expectations for this. Like, maybe there were some expectations set by at least what the fans were saying, but I might as well have just taken my expectations and pushed them off a fucking cliff, because this is fucking bad. Like, even in its better moments, like Conflict and Viking, I'll give those songs credit for being a little bit flashier, a little bit better constructed. The rest of this is insufferable. And at fucking 50 minutes, my God, this album lasted an eternity.
To be honest with you, I couldn't wait for this album to be over. I will say that Viking is probably a little bit more focused, a little bit less chaotic. There's not a whole ton of added noises on there. This song can read at a 6th grade level, at least. Public school, mind you, but it can read.
Yeah, there's just not enough going on here to justify 50 minutes worth of music. Like, I would rather stand in line at the DMV than listen to this again. So, Yeah, it comes down to a rating. And this is obviously not going to get a favorable one, and I don't even feel like putting up 1 star for this because this was an unenjoyable experience. So my rating is a Russian hatching doll, except this Russian hatching doll is sculpted out of bear shit, and with each layer you crack, it gets warmer and gooier and smellier. This is fucking awful. Seriously, this was like a whole bunch of like, hey, let's just try this and see if it fucking works. And if it doesn't, let's just fucking record it anyway. I don't get this because like, this is, you know, a professional band and these songs feel clunky and amateurish. And again, the post-production thing that you brought up made a lot of sense because you strip out all the extra little fucking beedly-wahs and like, you know, beefed up, roided out fucking production. You have a super basic, really dumb album. And I like dumb shit. Like, dumb shit's fun. But, you know, this, it's not even clever about it. There's nothing charming about it. It's just loud and obnoxious and stupid. And it's just a lot of rinse and repeat riffs and just the same stock breakdowns that you've been hearing in other bands. Like, this legit made Lorna Shore sound pretty good. And I'm not a big Lorna Shore fan. But at least, to their credit, I think they can write songs, like actual songs that sound like they were constructed, put together. These feel like they were just thrown together in a fucking blender and like, here you go. Cash that check for us, Sumerian Records. We got to go check the exchange rate on Ruples after this one. But yeah, I don't have anything nice to say about this. That's pretty obvious. But I mean, again, this is one of those, if you're a fan, then that's cool. That's awesome. Listen to this album if you like it and jam it to your heart's content. I'm never going to fucking listen to it again. And take it away, John.
Well, it should be brutally obvious at this point that I was not a gigantic fan of this record. In fact, I don't think I was even a small fan of this record. In fact, I hate that I've listened to this album twice. I listened to it once at work today to check it out, and I gotta tell you, I made it down to Conflict, which is the 11th song, and I turned it off. So, actually, I've only listened to this record in its entirety once. I can celebrate that. It makes me sad. Overall, I spent a lot of time frowning, spent a lot of time with a disgusted look on my face. In fact, one of the shining moments of this record was when I looked over at Nick during 1984, and he was pouting, but he looked disgusted at the same time. It looked like a kid that was told no in a candy store. I mean, that was pretty much the takeaway I got from this. In fact, the first thing I did today when I came over was apologize to Nick, because he had to listen to this. As far as a rating is concerned, I'm not going to justify giving this a star either, because that would make it seem like I somewhat enjoyed it, and I didn't. I hated it. So what I'm going to rate it is a 10-hour loop of Artex dying, and just that scene of him dying over and over and over again for 10 hours, and my eyes are peeled open like in A Clockwork Orange, and I'm forced to watch it. That's how I feel about this record.
It's amazing that I didn't have to make that reference. You made it yourself. That's how much I fucked him up with Artex shit.
Yep. It's cluttered with a bunch of unnecessary bullshit. I'm telling you that you did not need to add that many synths. It's another one of these bands that pushes every button and goes, that sounds cool. It's legit all over the place. If this was Slipknot, at least Corey Taylor is a decent singer. Lift That Shit is the dumbest thing ever. I mean, they are straight up slurping Slipknot's pee-pees on this one. Yeah, it's just bad. I'm not going to spend any more time talking because it's just bad. If you like this band, cool. Love them. Do what you're going to do. For me, it's not for me. I, again, am kind of sickened by the fact that I had to listen to a few of these songs twice. I will probably never turn this on ever again. Nonetheless, if you dig it, go for it.
So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We also have memberships. They're only 99 cents, and a lone perk is doing a members-only live stream, which we will eventually get to. You gotta wait for schedules to kind of slow down here.
Goddamn.
Yeah, I know. But we're eventually gonna get back to those, hopefully sooner rather than later. But membership's the main way to support the channel, and there's a join button down there if you'd like to join up. If you're a Slaughter to Prevail fan, you're probably not gonna want to join up, but, consider it. We're kind of funny. We just don't like your favorite band.
And even if you don't join, that's totally cool too. It's not like we don't do other things like non-members only live streams, which are equally as stupid. Discography rankings, I promise we'll get to At the Gates. We had a date set, but I, for the life of me, can't seem to get off overtime at work. I'm entering my 4th straight week of overtime. I'm gonna I don't know what I'm gonna do, but we'll get there eventually, along with our members' live streams. We promise. We got Nick's never-ending collection updates. We got States of Metals that not metal. We got the Thralls greatest hits. There's just a ton of stuff coming, and I promise you, as we get more time, we will get there. Nonetheless, we appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for being a part of the channel. Thank you for contributing as much as you do. We couldn't do this without you. It's been rad. Just once again, thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys absolutely rolled. Tons of content coming your way. So one more big thank you because you guys are awesome, and we will catch you later.